Jared Greenlee, welcome to Power Beyond Boundaries. My name is Jordan Yates. I'm here with Patrick Saylor from Zeus.
Hello.
How's it going today?
Going good.
Man, I'm happy to be here. Long trip to Houston. I realized that my truck don't fit in this town. It's a long way from the mountains, but I appreciate the invite, and thanks for having me in your studio today.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because normally I usually pretend like you're talking to an audience, and it's like just me and the other person. We're just staring at each other through the cameras online. But here, technically with the producers, we kind of have an audience, so we can feel like we're telling them our story today.
They're going to learn something about us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to go home and know everything about bucket trucks and shotgun sticks and... Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll be shopping lineman tools this afternoon.
Exactly. So, Jared, you are a lineman journeyman.
Yes, that's correct.
And then also a business owner. So, tell us a little bit more. I don't want to give your story for you. Give me a little bit of context, what it is that you're currently doing.
So, I am the owner of Journeyman Gear Tools, and that company started in 22. Mm-hmm. And I invented a whole bunch of lineman tools, and that's just when I started releasing them. Mm-hmm. And I've released about one tool a month, every month since January of 22. So, we've been rolling, it takes a lot, but I'm still a journeyman lineman with the union. I still carry what's called a yellow ticket. About a year ago, I quit working full-time as a line crew foreman to dedicate more time to my company. Mm-hmm. And that's been pretty cool because it's given me the time to do things like this.
Yeah.
For my whole life, back to 2004, I just worked full-time on a crew, and I couldn't have took a Tuesday or Wednesday and done this. So it's allowed me to travel the country. I've been 12,000 miles this month.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been a crazy month.
I mean, nobody is giving you that extended warranty on any of your vehicles.
No. So it's added spice to life, kind of, and I've got to have the conversations and meet the people.
Yeah.
That some of the guys I've been talking to for a long time that they're my internet friends, but now I get to see them face to face, and I'm talking about business owners and other linemen, but I still look forward to storms. So I'm a business owner, I guess, until a storm hits. First hurricane call that comes, there's going to be some back orders because I'm down the road. I got a big group of lineman friends that we chase storms together, and that's special to me. I hope I always get to.
Yeah, when I was younger, I really wanted to be a storm chaser, and I was like, it was that movie with Twister, yeah, with like the Dorothy machine, and I was like, this looks awesome. I want to do this, and then I looked into it. I was like, if I'm just a storm chaser but not doing what you're doing, I will not make any money. If I'm just following storms around, I couldn't think of a way to tie it to revenue. So I love that you can actually live that fun life out, but then get paid to do it. So
yeah, it's always that's another perk of it. Storms are usually double time, and everybody's happy. You're not going to find an upset line crew headed into a storm. Yeah. And of course, all my buddies think they're full-time Jim Cantoris right now. They're watching hurricane tracks and shifts and patterns, and I get updates. I promise you, there's messages on my phone about the storm that's coming right now.
Yeah.
It's 10 days out. Nobody on earth knows what it's going to be, but I got some buddies in Arkansas that do.
Yeah.
So that's how we live this time of year.
Sounds like an adventure, right? I mean, you're high adventure and a little bit of danger involved too, because you're climbing and you're having to get to remote areas and
it is. The adventure starts when you get to throw your tools on the truck. When you know the company you work for has got a green light. Everybody, it's awesome. The movie Twister, you talked about that a while ago. You know how they're all packing up in the dirt road and they're playing music and everybody's singing their favorite song. Happy, that's how it is.
Awesome.
Oh
on a storm, and you don't even know what town you're going to yet. You just know you're headed south or to the Gulf. And
so are you going to be dispatched before the storm even so hey, a storm's coming. It could be in Kansas somewhere. You're already heading from Arkansas up to Kansas knowing it's going to hit? Or do you get a call hey, the lines are down, we need help out here? How does it work?
Man, I've learned different utilities across the country to do different things. On a storm that you can see coming for 4 days, like a hurricane, they'd have a lot of guys staged up and a lot of stuff already, premeditated, some issues coming and have guys on site. So you go down several days early, sometimes a week early on a hurricane. And but there's like an ice storm or something that they don't really know, what happens overnight. They don't know how bad the damage is to the next day. Sometimes you're driving to a place that already has 250,000 outages, and then the first house you get to has been out for 4 days, and you just got to town.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so you told us about the pivoting point of when you started your company a couple years ago, but what made you actually want to start inventing tools? What sparked that interest?
Well, I have a notebook paper list that I've carried since high school, before smartphones or tablets. It's handwritten notes it's 2 pages on a notebook of inventions. And of course the first half, lineman tools, because I wasn't a lineman yet, but I still have that piece of paper, and it's wrote in like 7 different colors of ink. So I always have had a list of stuff that I was going to make and ideas, and still now that I have a phone and notes, I'm telling you, every time I think of something, I have to go in there and write it down, because you know how like you have a dream at night and you forget it by the time you brush your teeth.
Yeah,
I write that stuff down, and some of those notes are from 1 in the morning. Like I'm like, I better put it down.
Yeah.
But so I've always been making stuff that didn't exist. But of course, from 19 till now, like when I was 19 years old till now, it's been in the electric field. So those tools were kind of more dedicated to stuff that I identified we needed in this field. And the utility I worked for most of my life, you wasn't allowed to invent and release things, kind of intellectual property. That is what you just couldn't do it. And when I left that utility in 2020 and joined the outside union, then those companies they don't really have a hold of you or anything. So I was able to start my own company and start releasing stuff that I'd been building. And I started with just one tool, and I didn't plan on releasing another one. I'm like, if I get this one out and I can just get one company to sell it or something, I'm happy. That's the coolest feeling. And it was a pretty exciting time. And then you see some success, some wins, and I'm not talking about financial wins. I mean acceptance in the industry, and some people that are willing, some big companies that are willing to market that tool or have it on their shelf. Like, I got another tool in mind if you want to see it. Awesome. And then it went from there, and we're up to nearly 40 tools now. I release so many things that I keep postponing printing new catalogs, whereas I'm like, well, I know here in 3 weeks I got a new tool that's going to be ready for some photos, and I wish I had it in the catalog. So
next thing to invent a modular catalog that you could just add on to. It has just like extra pages you could just shove in the back or something.
if you look at that catalog that I'll give you, it's actually got a sheet shoved in it from a tool. There's a loose sheet in it. And that's what I have to do. You're ahead of the game. You learn so much if you can listen. But I don't plan on ever stopping releasing tools. My list is so long, I'll run out of life. I don't have enough months left in my life probably to get them all out, but I'm going to try.
Awesome.
That's
no
so
writer's block then.
Oh man, no.
It's hard to actually bring an idea to reality. So I love that you've actually so many different tools and styles have been able to bring the concepts to reality and then scale enough to be selling what you're selling. I think that in itself is the hard part of a business. Usually people are good at inventing and, making things out of nothing or having an idea on a piece of paper, but you're actually doing it. So at some point in the video, we're going to look through some of your tools and you can tell us what they're for. Yep. I'm curious. So your dad was a lineman. Was he a lineman journeyman or just lineman?
He was a journeyman lineman.
Or journeyman lineman.
Yep. Okay. He started for a company called Arkansas Power and Light, like before I was born in the 80s. And then that got bought out by another utility company, Energy. And he worked for Energy until he retired, for nearly 40 years. But my whole life, he was what's called a trouble man or a service man, like nearly his whole career, which means you're on call all the time. So I grew up with a dad that was always, he wasn't but an hour from home, but he wasn't home. He was on that Sunday morning squirrel outage or, on storms and stuff. But so it kind of felt natural to fall into that. He's helped me the whole time. And if I run into stuff to this day, he's still my phone or friend. The guy's got some knowledge. Like as you would after that long, but if you're having trouble with some field equipment regulators or transformers, he's sharp as a tack on it. So.
Is he still working? Or
no, sir. He retired in 2012. He turned 55 years old and made it 7 days. He didn't know how long he was going to stay, but 7 days is what it wound up being.
Good for him.
And he retired. He did his time.
Yeah.
So growing up watching him, you were pretty intrigued. Did it feel like you were always going to follow that same path, or did you at some point say, I want to do something different than my dad, or did it just feel natural to do what he did?
No, I was a rebel. I was a knucklehead. Like, it was the last thing I wanted to do. My whole life there's been a bucket truck in the yard. And in my house, we didn't grow up with Legos. We had meter seals and split shot bolts and whatever he'd come home with his pockets. That's what I played with.
Cool.
But no, there was between high school and there was 1 year there that I didn't want to do anything about line work. And very productive time in my life. I went and worked on a fish farm in South Arkansas. I'm serious. And my job was to shoot ducks. Like the ducks that ate the fish and stuff. My gosh. So I was like, well, this is a dream job.
Yeah, that's pretty chill. But then you ended up coming back anyways, and you decided to become a lineman, and now here you are. So
I got on early with a underground contractor in North Arkansas that worked for the utility, and real quick I got hired on with the utility to do the same job, running heavy equipment and doing all underground, and they finally worked me on to a line crew not long after, and I worked up to being a line crew foreman for them probably in 2016, and that's been my role since then as a line crew foreman.
Awesome. heavy equipment like the tuggers and the
backhoes and dozers and excavators.
that's kind of gotcha.
Rock diggers. Yeah. Yep, that was kind of my gig.
That's cool too.
I took care of 8 or 10 counties in North Arkansas that if it was a new installation or an outage, I was the guy that got sent on it, which is a fun job. And I enjoyed it because I got to work with a bunch of different offices. Instead of being on one crew all the time, you may see 3 different offices of guys in 1 week on different projects. So it was perfect. It's a pretty perfect part of my life back then that I wouldn't trade for anything. So
I think yesterday you were saying mentorship has been a big thing for you now that you're getting further into your career, and that there's a lot of guys that you like to give advice to or you'll talk to on the phone about this stuff. Do you feel like having grown up with a lineman as a dad and then having the phase of I want to be rebellious, I don't want to do this, and then being pulled back to it, do you feel that you have a good story of like why they should do it whenever people are still like, is this something I should do? Should I be interested? What's your way that you go about mentoring these younger folks?
I just got to do this on my drive down here. It's about a 10 or 11 hour drive down that I made 2 days ago, and I had people that I didn't know call me, and I'll go through them calls in a minute, but one of them was a young guy that got my number from somebody. He was 19, and he'd went to a lineman school, and he was looking for advice, and I give him a bunch of. I talked to him for an hour, and I honestly don't know who it was. I couldn't save his name because I couldn't remember what he said an hour ago.
It's too awkward when you're like deep in.
Yeah, I'm like, man. But I talked to him like I was talking to myself. I tried to be the guy that I wish I had. And when he was desperate for advice, and and I thought about it the whole time I was talking. I'm like, man, I'm thankful that I'm somebody that gave this guy a number and said, this guy will answer the phone and he'll help you. Yeah. And he knows enough people that can get you. And I ended up getting to help that guy and got him going.
What was the best piece of advice you gave him?
So, well, on this, we talked about a few things about keeping life straight and how to not be a knucklehead. Yeah. But the best advice was if there's a kind of a dead zone, because he's kind of in a situation where internship is drying up on him in North Arkansas for a co-op, and I'm like, man, if it takes 2 months for you to land on a crew like I'm trying to help you, don't give it up. Yeah. I know they're a young guy's got a truck payment, and he's got a loan payment for a school loan, I'm assuming, for line school, and that's kind of a tough spot. So I try to calm his nerves about how unimportant that little window of time is going to be in his whole career. Yeah. And I touched on that several times because you can hear it in people's voice when they're anxious and desperate. And I can look back and remember feeling like that about different things in my life now that don't matter. Right. Yeah. Like you can't. Something that felt terrible. But anyway, so I calmed him down about that and got him on the road to who he needs to talk to and the next step. And like, man, don't hang it up. Don't take a job that you don't want to do your whole career. Yeah. Right. Because this didn't start overnight. He's already made all these steps to get to this point. The next step's just like the last step. Just make it. Didn't
come this far to just come this far. So yeah, I like that because something I learned from Alex, the lineman journeyman that we had on the last episode, was basically the network of linemen and just like how close-knit you guys are, and that you were such a strong community. Like you said, even if you don't know the person or their name, you're still able to call each other, give each other advice. I'm curious from your perspective, what is the lineman community like from your eyes?
Oh man, it's hard to, that's a tough one.
Rowdy group.
It is. It's wild from like a third-party view, like a customer view. Yeah. Like you can watch it, even the guys that's been on my crew, you can watch them, and there'll be 2 guys that are out there that you think that they're probably going to fist fight today. This is the day that we're going to find out who's toughest or who's maddest. And at 10:30 or 11 in the morning, they'll be over there. You swear one of them's fixing to be bleeding. And then we're all in the same truck at Chick-fil-A. Like, man, what are you doing this weekend? That's like, awesome. So, but it's also tight-knit. Like, it's protective as a family. Like I got friends in the line community that I plan on knowing the rest of my life, and I don't care if I live to be 100. Yeah. I hope I still am friends with some of these guys, and it's a big network. Like if you want some news to travel or you don't want news to travel, just let a lineman find out. If it's on, and lately it's been you find out about accidents and fatalities and stuff. And there were some yesterday, and in Florida. It's sad.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm affiliated with the Line Life Foundation with Line Junk, and that woman that runs that's one of my close distributors, and she reached out to me this morning about some stuff that happened yesterday, just to spread the word. That's all you can do. Yeah. Is spread, but it's a pretty wild group to run with. Yeah. I found out that that you flew next to one. You flew next to one.
Yes, but went on a plane.
Yeah, so just imagine on a storm. These guys, they're not going home every night, and they're working 16-hour days and making a bunch of extra money. 1 month into a hurricane, if you make it to that point, it's a parking lot party that you can't avoid.
Yeah.
I stay out of it, but the music gets louder the longer the storm goes,
Uh-huh.
What does your wife think about it when you're like, does she have any guys you hang out with where she's like, babe, like, be safe? Like, I know these guys are going to party hard. Like, what's her perspective on being married to a lineman?
I've been with my wife for 20 years now, and we got together in 2005, and she's so used to storm calls, and I spent my whole life working, all night. So leave the light on and the front door unlocked. It's just like it was normal life. But and I haven't ever. I've been fortunate. I've been real lucky. I've never been hurt at work. I've had a bunch of close calls, and just been lucky several times. But nobody on my crew has ever been hurt. She's never got that phone call, or had to worry. And now we got Life 360, and she can at least see what part of the world I'm in.
Where you're at.
But for a long time, I'd have to call her on a truck radio, and it'd be one word, honey, I'm alive or something.
Yeah.
So she's used to just not even knowing if I'm all right or not. Even in my personal life, I do pretty crazy stuff usually. But as far as my friends, I got a really tight circle of guys, and none of them are partiers.
Yeah.
And we're getting a night's sleep. That's kind of, I don't know if that comes from being married for 20 years and just avoiding all those conversations and situations, but it's not a conversation we even have to have. She knows that if in the crew that I have running with me, usually you can pick who you want with you, or you can pick where you go with who. Usually, it's kind of a split crowd. Half of them are going straight to the room to take a shower and call their family, and the other half can't find their phone. So
right. Safety's pretty critical in your line of work. I mean, that's obvious. But as an outsider, I'll just kind of touch on your question real quick. And I came from an industrial electrical supplier background, so the overhead and lineman world is rather new to me. So I went to my first lineman rodeo about a month ago, and was just shocked by like how tight knit the culture is, and like how much pride that these guys take in their work, and it was just really inspiring to see that. So obviously you've got tons of that. You're full of pride with your work.
Yeah.
And,
I don't have tattoos about it or nothing.
I saw a few of those too.
There's some guys some guys when they top out, when they make Journeyman, they're getting their ticket number tattooed like they want it on their headstone.
Awesome.
But it's you're talking about safety, and if I've worked with 500 linemen, we'll say that. I know there's a whole lot more in the country, but a quick way to lose everybody's respect is to be a dangerous lineman.
Yeah.
Like you'll get what's called blackballed. If you're cowboying and you're breaking rules and not being considerate of other people's safety, we'll say.
Okay.
Like that's a quick way for this to be your last day on this crew. And so, fortunately, I haven't had to run into that. Usually, those guys don't make it.
Yeah.
Usually, they wind up having to go another route with their career because it's a mindset that's hard to break for some of them. But
go into sales. Those guys go right.
Yeah. I don't know if they have the personality. No.
Well, but the fact that your wife trusts like the guys around you, like your crew, that obviously that's huge, and just what I've seen in the industry, and people with guys with half a hand missing or big scars and stuff. It's scary, and plus you're up on 40, 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff that's hard to predict. Most our accidents aren't head-on collisions.
Yeah.
It's stuff that happens real fast that no one's seen coming. And the close calls I mentioned earlier, you're working on a pole and something breaks on the other side that you didn't even know was a problem. Or there's a million traps a day that you face, but that's how you have to make it. You have to. It takes a crew to walk around and look for and identify hazards and traps and I've been on a lot of jobs that I would have missed a few things if it wouldn't have been for a crew or somebody just walking to the next pole and looking at it before we untie this wire or something. And that's what it takes.
Yeah. So part of the reason we're having linemen like you and Alex on this podcast, video series, whatever you want to call it, I feel like we're not quite consistent enough to call it a podcast, but it's podcast style, is Zeus, which is where Patrick works and who I, do videos for and the marketing for, we want to understand, like, we see the value in what we're doing because we're like, oh, we're in the echo chamber of, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's get these transformers. Let's get these gloves. Let's get these things. People will love it. And for a long time, we were talking to all the procurement, the engineers, the CEOs, things like that. And one day it kind of dawned on us, like, the linemen are the ones actually using the stuff that we're trying to push into new places, like the gloves, for example, or this hotline clamp thing, which we'll show you guys later. And so what we're curious about is, from your perspective, how often do you feel like your voices are heard on the front line when it comes to the types of things that the utility is providing as tools, or the contract you're out working? Like, how heard does your community feel?
Oh, well, we'll start with hardware. Like, if a lineman gets a bunch of hardware that's bad, and there's just some components that we refuse to use, or we'll get a load of like a batch of insulators that two of them pulled apart, high tension insulators. We're going to dig a hole and we're going to throw every insulator on that truck in the hole and bury it. Like, we're not even going to discuss.
Not even throw it away. We're burying it.
Yeah, we're not inspecting them before we use them because they're new and we don't need to worry about it. You get some bolts that the threads are bad. They're going in the hole. But as far as safety equipment, we'll just go with safety glasses. Companies provide safety glasses. There'll be 200 pair in the bin. If guys decide that they don't like them because it touches their eyebrow, they're too small for their head, that bin will stay full for 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody's using them. We'll wear our own stuff, and the companies see that and they'll quit buying that brand. So just non-use or refusal to use, that's real.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's more of the long game of kind of like we're not going to tell you we hate it, but we're going to kind of show you we're not using that.
You'll figure out when the job gets inspected.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because I always wonder, I'm like, whenever we talked to Alex, he was saying that, transformers are hard to get and sometimes there just isn't a new one. So you guys have to like rework a super old one and somehow like make it work for the job. Is that something you've experienced a lot as well, of trying to just figure it out as you go?
Yeah. I've had outages before. Not all outages is just, it's not just down the road from the office. Our territory in North Arkansas was 2 hours wide.
Yeah.
And I've had bad pots before, and I was 2 hours from getting the exact pot I needed, but I knew where one was on a pole down here where a house burnt.
Yeah.
So I went down there and jerked that pot off the pole, and so it's reused equipment.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're upgrading a house service or wrecking a line out and the pot was energized when you got there, most of the time it will go back in stock. Okay. Unless it's an older pot that could be PCB or something. But they're reused transformers. But there's been, I think COVID is when it started.
Yeah.
I was a part of big jobs in North Arkansas that I would consider to be important jobs for the people that was paying for it. 3-phase, commercial projects, and we couldn't finish it because we didn't have transformers to hang at the end.
Yes. And
I'm pretty sure those companies would have paid anything.
Yeah.
But we literally just couldn't get the pots. And you get into even bigger transformers, like a substation pot or, a 5,000 pad mount. That's a whole nother.
Oh, yeah.
But there was jobs canceled. I know it was serious enough that big jobs were canceled or postponed because we couldn't get the dang transformer.
Wow.
And that's literally how Zeus started around that time, was because of all that. So I kind of like to get the perspective of, is what we're doing, are we actually telling the right story? Like, are we giving the right message to the right people? Like, is this stuff that's actually going on? Because for me, I'm not personally sourcing any transformers, but I'm being told secondhand about these transformers that don't exist that people need. And so as our like validation of, okay, the stuff we were seeing is accurate. Like, sure, people are placing orders and even better because you talk to the customers. But I think it's always good to step outside of our own echo chambers and say, okay, what's actually going on in the market? And so that's why I like your point of view on it. Patrick, what about you? From what you've seen of talking to people, is that kind of line up with what you're hearing? Or do you think that at a lot of the corporate levels, they don't seem as like, hey, we actually don't have the equipment?
I think since COVID, the supply channels have gotten better, but there's still, I mean, when you're talking, like you mentioned, like the medium voltage pad mount transformers, depending on the size, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years for like a transmission or a power transformer, like you're talking 2 years to deliver. So what we do is we vet factories all around the world. So whether it's in, overseas or South America, domestic, and we utilize those supply chains that we've developed through the utility markets to supply not just co-ops and utilities and contractors, but even distributors and EPCs and large projects. So, yeah, I mean, it's a challenge every day, you know, trying to find the right thing for the customer. And I mean, I've been in those positions where I have to find a refurbished unit to serve the purpose for the customer. And yeah, you just got to get creative, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, definitely. So one of the things that we've been pushing the most lately have been gloves. So it's like the Tilsa Tech Pulse safety gloves. So I have one here with me. I don't know, it seems to be double layered.
We'll take the leather off, actually.
Here.
So that's and I can let Jared here talk more about it, but this is a class 3, and this should be in your size, Jared, but this is, it's the brand is Tilsa Tech. So it's a UK-based company.
Really?
And
if you get bored with Patrick, you whack him with it.
yeah.
17,000. I got you. Man, that feels good.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, it does,
Yep.
man.
Good.
You said it was hard with some of them to grip because it wasn't very flexible.
There's a few brands that I don't think you get a lineman to vote for if you had them.
Yeah. I think I know
Yep.
a couple of them, yeah.
If you put a glove on and you just move your hand, you're like, oh, I can move a hand.
Yeah.
Leave them on for 9 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
run some reconduct on it. And with sleeves, trying to push them off the end of your hand. Because when you got rubber sleeves on, all that glove's trying to do is go off your hand.
Yeah.
So you'll see linemen in there the whole day, you know, getting it back on. So you'll see guys have to boom down and just run their hands. You know, they're running their forearms on their bucket. And
Yeah.
that's how you test a glove. But this one feels good. Some of them are it's like they're just not pliable. It's like you have a mitten on. You're up there in a baking mitten.
We've
That's
had
terrible.
really great feedback from, I mean, I was expecting something negative feedback, but really, I mean, as far as like the ergonomics and the feel of it, it's all been all positive.
Yeah.
Really, the one negative is because it's an IEC or dual rated product. This is the way they This is the way they.
This is the way they whoops.
Well,
Give after.
all the printing on the cuff. It can kind of irk the labs that want to put their stamp
That's
right
what
there.
stampings go, yeah.
So we've actually minimized the printing, but yeah, no, it's the feedback has been very positive. The statement I hear a lot is that it reminds them of the old white rubber gloves, and I always thought hearing that it was like white.
Yeah, that's everybody's favorite.
Yeah,
I don't know who closed White's doors.
yeah.
They locked the wrong door, man. That was a winner.
That was a marketing decision made over somebody's, for whatever reason that
Oh, yeah.
everybody got irked, or like at least all the
Let me
guys
see
that are
this
actually
one.
using the product, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if you had a pair of Whites, you hung on to it where I come from. You'd protect them.
And so they have to be tested at a certain period of time. How often do we have to test these gloves?
So the rules that I know by heart, I don't know if it was a company policy or if it was a national electric code, but every 6 months that glove needs to be tested.
Okay,
But usually you run a rotation. Like everybody would get 2 pair of every gloves they had.
gotcha.
One would stay in the storeroom in a controlled environment. Every 3 months you'd turn those gloves in and you'd get the ones off the shelf that were newly tested. So every 3 months you're trading your gloves out. That gives them 3 months to get them tested and shipped back.
Yep.
And I've never got to see the facility that the company I worked for shipped their gloves, but I have been to a few testing facilities. It makes you feel better when you see how they're doing
Yeah.
it. Like I think everybody should see that. I think lineman schools should take guys 2 things. That'll show how easy it is for one to fail.
Sure.
Because you get kind of complacent. You'll have them gloves on and you'll pinch it behind a washer, with an impact,
Yeah.
and you'll pull it out. You're like, oh, that was just my leather. Well, man, if it was your rubber, you're going to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you see a glove that failed, and that's what happened last time I was at a testing facility. They gave me one that failed, and I've been looking at gloves my whole life, and I even air tested it, and the hole was just above the wrist. When you air test a glove, it only checks the fingers.
Yeah.
And that wrist, the electricity will go through that hole just as fast as a finger hole. But
Yes.
kind of eye-opening, but
That's scary. Yeah, Ruben was showing us how to do the test of rolling it up, and then we were just listening to it, and I was like, this is interesting. But I could see how, if you roll it up, you're not gonna see all the way down here. I never even took that into consideration because in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're just touching the electricity with your fingers, you'll be fine. But no, it's everything. So that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that. It's the things where I'm like, I don't even realize is the selling point of something because I haven't lived that experience, whereas you guys literally have, and your lives are online. I guess Liveline.
Yeah.
Is the name of the company that does the testing.
Shout out to Liveline.
Yeah,
Liveline Safety in Houston.
It's all starting to make sense now.
I've learned a little bit just from guys like you and guys like
Patrick's like, I need to set the precedent. I'm not as dumb as Jordan, so no.
Jordan's way smarter. She's an engineer. I'm a dumb sales guy, but so every day you go out into the field for the rubber insulated glove, you do you inspect it. Is that right?
Yep.
Visual inspection. You roll it up to test to make sure. Tell me about that.
Yep. So the air test is the most common, but most linemen have worked their whole life by a screaming diesel engine.
Okay.
So our ears are ringing. My ears are ringing so bad right now. It sounds like smoke alarms.
Yeah.
And it's like that all the time. So I could hold a leaking air hose up to my ear and not hear it. So you kind of want to find it like a cooler full of water or something. Sounds nasty, but
sure,
air test would be great.
Yeah.
They make most storerooms, like they don't store it on the truck, but there's a hand pump, like a glove puts over it. Yeah. And that tests the whole cuff and everything.
Too. Yeah, that was fun.
And that's in a quiet room. Like you don't put that in the generator room. That you do that somewhere quiet. That's probably the best testing. Of course, you can turn one inside out. It's a pain in the butt, especially on a winter day, and see if it's been tracking. But my advice, especially if you work for a company that they can afford another pair of gloves, especially before they can afford, a life insurance claim. If you pinch a hole in your glove, don't be scared of the GF being mad at you because it's $300. Dude, you was doing your job and you didn't mean to. Get another pair of gloves out of them.
Yeah.
Don't let them talk you into running. Still you run in winch line or you can shove a piece of wire through it. You got braided wire. There's a bunch of chain choker can pinch it. There's a million things that can happen to that glove. It's literally protecting your hands. So it's important.
Makes $300 seem cheap when you compare it to all the other things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Use your selling point if anyone ever says it's too expensive. Like, but what is a life worth?
I mean, clearly it's a life-saving piece of safety equipment, and so it's tested every 6 months. You said so. And so it'll have a lifespan, right? So it might last 6 months, or hopefully longer than that. But it might last 2 years, 5 years. How long is a typical? And then some of the other brands you mentioned that weren't necessarily as preferred as some of the other.
We're not going to make them call it out here.
We won't call out actual brand names.
Everyone that you think sucks.
I got to be careful about that. So
we're not getting him in trouble today, Patrick.
I've had tests. I told you sometimes like our class 3s. Not every circuit in my career was 34.5, 19.9.
Sure.
So we wouldn't wear class 3s until we was going to work on that line. So sometimes a 6-month cycle would go through, and I wouldn't have those gloves out of the bag. And so the test dates, and they wouldn't erase the old test dates. They just put a new one right above it, And so I had some gloves that were probably 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
That you take care of them and they stay in the glove protector.
Wow.
An easy habit to get in is to not put them in the glove protector. Like if you're booming down and you're fixing to go to the next pole, you'll shove them gloves by the controls or toss them down with the bed of the truck. It's an easy habit to get in.
Sure.
It's a pain in the butt to get them in the bag.
And,
And you got to deal with traffic and 50 other things. And it's easy to get something dropped on it, or just you'll get back in the bucket and it's in the floor with scrap wire and
or set yourself up for failure.
Or like leaving it in the truck on a hot day on the dashboard. I mean, could that damage the rubber also?
Yeah, I've seen faded. Even blankets. Sometimes on a reconduct, you'll cover up a phase that you got to pull new wire over, and you'll put rubber cover, guts and blankets on it. And I've seen just in a 1 month of that orange blanket hanging outside on that line, it'll turn white.
Sure.
Goodness.
It deteriorates faster than you think. So
before we get to your side of the show and tell, because we got some tools on the table we're going to get to, I want to do a fun rapid fire / like hot takes on these. So I have a list of questions for you, and just kind of off the top of your head, unfiltered, what is the most overrated tool in a lineman's bag? Or overhyped?
Man.
As a guy who makes tools and makes good tools,
I gotta watch what I say.
know. Yeah, you should know.
I got a few, but
it doesn't need to be a type of brand, but maybe the type of tool. What do you think is most overhyped or overrated?
I'd say a meter puller.
Okay.
That's a random tool, but they made me carry a meter puller, my whole career, and I've never had a meter puller out on a meter. I know there's an application where it would be called for, but it's to prevent a flash on your hands. When you pull a meter with a meter puller, meter hits the ground, breaks. You want it on your hands. Anyway, that's what I'll say.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take that. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to look it up and insert a picture or something.
Is it the other that kind of looks like the meter, but it's a secondary, like a device And so when you're like in a panel or when you're up on a pole?
So like a house meter, like the meter inside your house. Okay. It's a tube that goes over it, and it's got a little aluminum thing that latches.
Interesting.
And then you're pulling on a 2-foot plastic tube to pull it, and it's an old glass meter.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. So as soon as you pull it, the glass meter hits the concrete, it's broke. Like, so I'd say that's the one tool that I've had to carry that I've never used. So.
Yeah, but the people in the house don't like that very much. Like, what the heck? Not my meter, man. Broke
I know.
my meter.
And then you have to walk all the way back to the truck and log in a new meter.
Yeah. Well, the utility company owns the meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. What is one old school method that you'll never give up? Maybe something your dad might have taught you.
When you set a pole, that's a dead end pole or it has a guy off of it. And this is a new installation. Some crews will set a pole and tamp, and then they'll get chain hoist out and grips, and they'll go and they'll put a hoist on the guy wire, and they're pulling the pole back. It's called a rake. Or what you can do is not have to drag a 70-pound chain hoist around. You can just lean the digger truck boom over and make the guy wire up, and then tilt it back, then tamp your hole. And then the wire's tight, and the pole's exactly where it would be if you got a chain hoist out, but nobody's pinched their finger or had to cross the ditch 4 times dragging chain hoist.
Yeah.
And that goes against the grain, but that's something I'm going to do every chance I get.
Interesting.
It saved me 500,000 trips across the ditch with a chain hoist.
I'm realizing I should have Googled what a lot more of these things were beforehand, because I'm trying to visualize it, and I feel like most technical conversations I have, I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. I know what this is in like a factory or on site, and I'm like, chain hoist, I think I could see it, but we're gonna have to insert some pictures. But I think the guys who are linemen who are listening, they'll probably be like, yeah, we know what
they're doing
about.
it too. Yeah, everybody out there is doing that.
Yeah.
And unless the GF's watching or something.
Okay, next one. Your favorite storm state to work in and why? Like if you're chasing a storm and it's, I gotta go to Florida, I gotta go to Texas, I gotta go here, there. What's your favorite one to have to go in?
I've had the best storms in Louisiana.
Okay.
Like as far as the longest duration, and utility company takes care of us. We got to stay on a ship.
Okay.
One time the company rented us a ship. It's an offshore exploration ship, like they had submarines. And they rented the whole ship and docked it in Port Fuchon for us.
That's crazy.
And they was planning on like 300 guys staying on it. But it was like 60 miles from the closest parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they didn't have any hotels for us north, so we was just making that 2-hour drive down to Grand Isle to Port Fuchon, and we had a whole ship to ourselves, and they cooked 3 meals a day for us. It was like staying on a cruise ship. But it was empty, so we got to walk around. And
oh my gosh!
But anyway, Florida is second.
Florida second. Why Florida?
Yep. Duke takes care of you. Duke Energy is an awesome company. The people there are pretty nice. I haven't had any bad experiences before. I went on a lot of storms. Usually they get you there before the storm hits. So every landfall that every hurricane that I've seen make landfall, like I was there when it was hitting.
What's that like?
It's wild. It's exactly what you think. There's trampolines flying through there and cars underwater. And
oh my gosh!
All the lights go out and people stuck in elevators. All the cool stuff.
Yeah, no, we had a Category 1 last year in Houston, Beryl, and that was my first hurricane. And I don't want to say it was underwhelmed, but I thought like you said, there's going to be things flying through the air, but it was almost like it just seemed weird colored outside, and the winds were fast. Don't get me wrong, it did a lot of damage, and there was a lot of stuff to fix after, and we ran out of all the electricity and all those good things. But I couldn't imagine being in like an actual like category. Was it go up to like 5 or 6?
5. I've seen a 4.
Okay, you've seen a 4. Are you hoping to see a 5 one day?
I don't wish that on families. That's a sad. As a lineman, it's a cool time to be a lineman. But what it does real quick is it makes you thankful that your house is 700 miles north and your family's safe. You're seeing people have the worst days of their life. And you meet people, you meet families, and I try to find ways to help them. And when I'm there, and I take the opportunity, even if it's dragging their car out of their driveway that won't run, so they can get their car that will run out. Whatever it is, help them. And then you're just next door the next day, and then you find out they're related, and before you know it, because they'll give you a whole neighborhood. That's how hurricanes usually go. They'll give one company a whole circuit or a whole neighborhood, so you'll be there for a week, and nothing changes. These people have been out of power for a week. There's still a tree through their house. They still hadn't heard from some relatives, and cell phones not working. So it's sad. It's like I would give up all the storming that I could do if I had the decision. I'd say I wouldn't want a hurricane to hit, because it's terrible for families. They lived there their whole life and the house is gone.
I love the compassion, because I did not consider that when I was asking the question. So, but that is, see guys, he's such a nice guy.
reiterating. Super guy, by the way. Yeah.
Super cool guy. Yeah. Connect with him. Follow him. Follow Journeyman Tools.
Hurricane Ike was a Category 3 and like dead on. Like, I mean, and so we got to, and unfortunately it was at night, but so like we got to see the hurricane came through. And like she said, the day before, like Friday, I guess, the sky was just green, like the kind of like weirdest color green as like the band started kind of coming through. But on Saturday, when it might have been a different day, but when the storm actually came through and the winds are intense and get more intense and more intense and all the trees are like this way, and then all of a sudden the winds start to kind of calm down and it's just like completely quiet for about 10 minutes, and then the wind starts going the other way. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was like this. I don't want to say underwhelmed because I'm thankful it wasn't worse, but I was expecting every hurricane is just like there's these tidal waves. They're just like 10 feet tall and the city's flooded, and so I was scared that was going to happen. So when it didn't, I was like, okay, thank God. But also, why is my electricity still out? Like, what's going on? It didn't seem that bad. Like, there's nothing knocked down in our neighborhood, but I guess it's all connected to one thing or another. So even if your neighborhood looks fine, you're not always fine.
It's a great question, and I actually am curious about that. So when a storm comes through, what is it that gets damaged? Is it start popping the individual transformers at the like in the neighborhood level, or is it something like a substation, or a little of both? Or?
Well, it'll compound. Like Hurricane Beryl, you mentioned. I was down here for a month during Hurricane Beryl last year, and you mentioned storm surge. They told us to expect 10 foot at the hotel we was at, and our trucks are out front.
Yeah.
So we're out there getting all of our tools and throwing them in buckets, and we're booming the buckets 50 foot high.
Wow.
And they moved us to like a 4th floor. But anyway. The severity of a storm, of course, it takes all components for that meter to get electricity.
Right.
Everything has to be good, and one of those dominoes is out. You don't get, you're not getting, wattage to the cottage. It's not happening. What they call it. But cool. Sometimes in a major event, the power companies will go ahead and drop the transmission in the substation and kill the power ahead of time, and that's an awesome move. It sucks because a lot of people get out of power that wouldn't be maybe. But what happens is that makes it to where when those power lines fall, they're not energized. And it's also not burning the equipment up. Like if a phase lays on top of a transformer hot, the pot's bad. So then it's just picking up wire, and it's like building a fence.
Yeah.
But of course, the size of wire, there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. Barrel, everything was down, and it was from trees. The damage that I spent a month cleaning, the wire and the pole was fine, but the tree fell and broke cross arm, 7 spans both ways. And
oh my gosh.
You climb every one, and we just did that for a month. Never ended. Houston's wild.
Yeah. We got a lot of criticism for our management of the storm last year. So I felt bad for some of the utility companies because I'm like, they're doing the best they can. I don't know what they were supposed to do different. But
was that the one where people were like harassing the linemen and
There's
stuff?
There's a bunch of bad stuff happened.
Yeah. And then the Whataburger app became how people were tracking where electricity was. Were you guys in the loop on that? Yeah.
I remember that.
Because it's like, okay, the Whataburger app had like the locations of which ones were open. And so you could tell like, oh, this one's open or this area's got electricity again because their Whataburger app is like showing that this one's open. So like we stayed on the Whataburger app the whole time. Like that's how we were chasing it because the Centerpoint portal wasn't as fast as Whataburger was at keeping us up to date. So that was our little trick of figuring out like how to like go back. Do we go back home and see if our electricity's on, or do we just stay out of here? And so it was an interesting hack there, but
I've been through so many of them that they're just a blur at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, you remember the really memorable ones like that, like Ike or
Gustav. That's 08.
Gustav 08 through
September of 08 is when those were.
Yeah. Now, so there's trees and debris everywhere. Are you having to clear often like clear branches and?
It's kind of up to the crew if we want to. Much of the companies on the union side, they'll run cordless chainsaws. They're for topping a pole out or cutting a cross arm. But if you got a tree that you can cut, you kind of make that decision on site. Like if it's in a big tree or it's a bind or your chainsaw's not big enough, you get a tree crew coming. But what happens there is you're sitting there in that neighborhood for another hour waiting on a tree crew, and all they see is linemen sitting there not doing nothing.
Yeah.
And you feel like you want to go door to door and explain why you're waiting because they've been out for a week or two.
Yeah.
But we'll make that decision. But sometimes it's a big enough tree, you got to have a tree crew.
And then are there instances where it's like, oh, I don't have this component to complete, to get service up? Tell me about that.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
So 2 things happen there. You reuse old material, like I remember several hurricanes where I literally would get in my foreman truck and would drive down the road looking at broke poles and try to figure out what the framing could have been and pull over and pull hardware off of a pole that's in a ditch, because that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
And you hear utility companies that run out of material, which happens, especially on the tail end. And it's not that they're not prepared on the front end.
Yeah.
They can only keep so much emergency equipment or material on site. But when a terrible storm hits, Irma or Ida or Ian, you got, I think Irma was the largest lineman convoy that's ever come. I think it's like nearly 40,000 linemen, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So even if we say there's 2 to a truck, there's 20,000 trucks that's never been in that state that's there now.
Yeah.
They're going to these material yards and everybody's getting what they think they might need for the next few days. It may be a whole lot more than they need, but they don't know. But they know they need some of that. So they just stocked, 15 or 20,000 trucks with material. That's why a whole airport-sized laydown yard can be out of square washers and black tape and cross arms.
Oh my gosh.
They got them, but they're all in beds of trucks all over the state.
Yeah.
And it's there's no way to keep ahead of that. Like in utility companies' defense, I've watched that my whole career. I've been guilty of it. You go on a storm and you're somewhere where there's, like in the Carolinas, have a bunch of number 6 copper. You go on a storm, you find a box of number 6 automatics, the splices. Yeah. I'm taking the whole box.
Yeah, it's your box now.
Because if you don't have those, you got to crimp it. It's a whole different storm having to run crimpers. But automatics are priceless. There's several things that on a storm, if a lineman sees it, he's putting it in the bin.
Yeah, no,
that'll save you.
So speaking of things to put in the bin,
Yeah.
let's start looking at those tools you got over there that are the Journeyman's Gear.
Yep. So forgive me, out of the nearly 40 tools I have, this is all I had left in my truck.
It's fine. Our tables are small anyways. How many tools can we hold?
Unprepared.
Just give us one at a time. Let's see.
This is the first tool that I released. 2022 is when I released this. It's called the Corner Pocket. This is a bucket organization tool. You picture a bucket that's square on the inside and you're standing in it.
Sure.
This is designed to sit in the corner of the bucket, and it's the only tool that's made to stay in the corner. It hangs off 2 bucket hooks, and I got another tool that I invented that sits on the same 2 hooks that goes on the outside. So it's like having a secret parking lot for all your tools back there that's never existed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's been wasted space. Because it's kind of hard to explain, but the lip of a bucket gets real thick in the corner.
Okay.
So a bucket hook won't fit there.
Okay.
So you only had the flat sides
Yeah.
to store tools. So I made 2 tools for that. And this is the first one I released, and this is the one I told you I would have been fine with stopping at this. I didn't plan on having a catalog of stuff, but had some support and a few wins that we mentioned on this. And I'm like, man, I got something else in mind. Why not? I'm here. Let's do it.
Let me see. I want to hold on to
Yep.
it. Give it to this camera angle to view it.
And you're manufacturing these yourself? In Arkansas?
North Arkansas, yeah.
Wow.
This is so cool.
Yep, and it's not injection molded or 3D printed. That's machined out of solid sheets.
Wow.
Yep, on a CNC table.
Here you go.
I love it.
All right, what's next?
All right, so this isn't in order now. Now that I don't have 2 through 11 with me or whatever I released.
We'll link all of your stuff in the description, so guys, you can go look at his full catalog online.
This is one of this year's release. I told you I released about 1 a month.
Yeah.
This would have been maybe February.
Okay.
This is called the 6-banger. This complements another tool I have called the 4-banger.
Okay.
Which is slang for motors. Like, man, I got a Toyota with a 4-banger in it.
Okay.
Or a 6-banger.
Interesting. I've never heard that.
It's just kind of slang. It's a term that's normal in my part of the world. But
yeah.
This hangs off 2 bucket hooks. And so this is made for hanging hoist and grips and hardware, heavy hardware switchings and stuff. So like most bucket hooks are only rated for 35 or 40 pounds. We hung 1,000 pounds from this.
Oh my gosh.
Like a chain hoist.
Yeah.
You picture a chain hoist on a transmission crew can weigh 120, 130 pounds per hoist. And Alex, did you talking about Alex?
Yeah.
Sent him one of these, and right off the bat, he's hot rodding it. He has 500 pounds hanging from one of these of hoist on his crew. He give it to his crew to use.
Yeah.
But it's a cool tool. Tool storage, tool organization is what that is, and that's the safest option. What that tool does is it replaces a rope. I'm sure you've seen bucket trucks. You pull up behind a bucket truck. Nearly all of them have a rope that just runs around the outside edge, just with a little dog knot on it.
Yeah.
And they'll hang a whole bunch of stuff off that rope. Yeah. And a lot of companies are banning those ropes on property because they break. And they go through windshields and land in intersections. And
of course.
Yeah.
So that replaces the rope. That's
you want to replace your rope.
It holds infinity weight.
Yeah.
And that attaches, that's on the outside of the bucket?
It'll fit inside or out.
Yeah, okay.
Most of them are run on the outside.
Yeah.
Because you want to get all your hoist off of you. When you get in the bucket, you want everything you can get outside.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, what about the other one? It's got an interesting shape to it.
Yep. So this is the second rung rack. So ladder safety, like that's a big enough deal in this country.
Okay.
There's ladder safety months. There's whole months that are ladder safety months.
Wow, I did not know that.
So it's real easy to get hurt on a ladder.
Yeah.
Sure. And you picture the ladder falling or the butt kicking out on you. Overreaching is the closest calls I've had on a ladder.
Right?
Has been from thinking I can reach. I'm not a very tall guy.
Yeah.
So then you reach as far as you can and go a little further, and you'll fall. Well, when you get on a ladder and you're working on a roof or a weatherhead, there's nothing to do with your tools. There's nothing on a ladder you can hang it from. It's just rungs and solid frame. So what do? You hold stuff under your arm, or you'll lay stuff on a roof, or it's linemen find a way. They've done it. They made it without this tool for forever, but I wanted to find a way. So this is the second tool made for a ladder. The first one I don't have with me. It's just the rung rack one, but this one clips to the side rail. So you picture a ladder going up.
Okay.
This hooks to the side rail of the ladder.
Yeah.
And it gives you a spot to hold your rubber glove, your squeeze tool, your voltmeter, your dead end, and very light. And it's just a cool tool. Once you use one, you're not going to ever go work a service without it. And it fits on both extension ladder and an A-frame ladder.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of
great.
at home I have a ladder that has like a tray that you can, when you fold it out, has the hole in the top, for your screwdriver or whatever you're using, or your impact drill. And I always love that because for whatever reason I'm just trying to hold everything in my hands or under my arm and do everything. And I'm thinking
Your mouth.
Yeah, my mouth. Yeah, no, that behind my ear, all the different ways to hold something. But this is a little more intuitive because you may not be at the top of your ladder where the little bucket may or may not be. Yeah. So this is really neat.
Yeah.
And on an extension ladder, there is no bucket.
Yeah. I might have to keep this one.
Yeah. I'll give it to you.
Okay, because I actually have use for this as well with all my projects. So.
Absolutely.
You could put one on each side and have.
You can run two at a time.
Yeah.
And it's very lightweight too, which is cool. So.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
what's the little ones we got? We're getting smaller.
This is an awesome tool. This has been one of the most popular tools. It's called a bit grip.
Okay.
So you've seen linemen's drill bits that they use.
Yeah.
It's 18 or 20 inches long, depending on what distro or transmission. And when you're climbing a pole on hooks, we're not picturing in a bucket now. We're climbing a pole on hooks.
Okay.
We don't have
like the real rodeo stuff.
So when you drill a hole, you may know you need to drill 6 or 8 more holes with that drill bit. You don't want to throw that drill bit down because then it lands on the ground and sticks in the ground, dulls the point.
Right.
There's nothing to do with the drill bit when you're on hooks. It don't fit in the pocket.
Yeah. No,
and you don't want to hold it under your arm because
Yeah.
you'll just drop it. So you'll try to balance it on your belt, and you just be careful. This is a 7/16 quick chuck.
No way.
That drill bit sticks in.
Wow.
And this is welded out of steel. And you could pick a Z71 pickup truck up with that carabiner. It's not going to break. But that lets you clip that to the pole or to your climbing belt. And
that is smart.
Of course, the bone sockets. If you're not using a drill bit, you got a socket in your impact. The socket's the same size chuck, so you can put your socket in there or drill bit. But that's been a really cool one. That's every power company that's tested this, some really big ones, has approved it, like Duke or PG&E. Those big companies.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool tool.
That's so cool. Oh, it's heavier than I thought it was going to be.
It's a bit grip.
Bit grip. Yeah,
Bit
that's
grip.
right, man. You got to have a slang for a lineman, or they'll make one for you. It better have a name on it.
Yeah, this is so smart. It's just things like this where I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't have, it's a company you wouldn't have come up with unless they were actually like living your life and doing this stuff. That's why I love the concept of how your company started and came to be. This is so neat.
It's a simple fix.
Cool.
And everybody that sees it, it's like, man, I can't believe that didn't exist.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because I think about that when I'm like at home hanging something and you have to drill your hole and then you have to change your head and then you're putting a hammer in to get the why am I drawing a blank on it? What do you put in your hole in your drywall?
Like an anchor?
Anchor, yeah. You put your anchor in, and then you got to change to your drill bit. And it's like I'm always just like dropping all those all the time. It drives me crazy. And they're way smaller than that. But I think about that is difficult, and I just have to get off my 5-foot ladder back to my bedroom floor. But that when you're out there dropping something and you're way up high is actually dangerous. So that's very practical. Cool. I love it.
Yep, I got that when that started. I was actually a hurricane had went way up the East Coast. And I think I was in Delaware, Massachusetts, and I had a drill bit dropped on me, accident. It was, and you're picturing in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
When I say a drill bit dropped on me, it was nighttime and it was raining, and
it was scary.
We was working. My buddy up the pole, his headlamp died a long time ago, so he was using the light from my headlamp. So it's not like anyway. He had it balanced somewhere and it dropped and the point didn't hit me. It was the actual butt end that goes in there and it knocked a hole in my hard hat. And
really?
So I'm like, man, I'm gonna fix it. He wouldn't have dropped it on me for $1 million.
Wow.
And I didn't need to be standing under him, but he was using the light from my headlamp. So where are you going to stand? It's
exactly.
A bunch of contributing factors to this near miss.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'll have that fixed.
Yeah.
And
super.
That's one of the tools that come home and it's pretty easy to figure out.
All right, what's the last one in your hands?
All right, the last one, like I said, this is just all I had in my truck.
Yep.
I left a whole bunch of them with Quanta yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't plan. This is a plumb bob.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God. Yes, I needed one of those when I hung the squat rack in my gym. I was like, what the hell is this plumb bob thingy? Like, what is this? Because it's saying, to line up your holes.
Yep.
And I would hang it. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And I looked it up and I was like, okay, I see why you would need one.
Yep.
I love that you made one.
Most plumb bobs on Earth are big, pretty heavy brass, and they have a point. And it's for masons. It's for bricklayers. Mm-hmm. And that's how you make a Bluetooth straight line.
Yeah.
Basically that's how there's a straight line from there to there, and they lay their bricks to a string. But every time a lineman sets a pole, somebody on that site has to have a plumb bob. Mm-hmm. And linemen are inventive. You'll see a guy with his shoe off, and he's using the shoe string.
Anything could be a plumb bob.
Anything with a string. And that's how I've lived my whole career. You'll have a piece of string that you found tied to a bolt or a nut or a washer.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what happens every time, I don't care what anybody says, once you get the pole plumb, you just throw that plumb bob kind of towards the truck because you're not walking over there, put it up, it's gone.
Yeah.
So nobody ever has one.
Right.
They dang sure didn't make one that fits in your pocket.
Yep.
It's super simple. And I just released this year. The cool part about this, it's cut out of steel, and it's got 2 notches for your string. Mm-hmm. It's gonna and it sits thin in your pocket. Like you know how you can't find your chapstick in your pocket?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is how this rides. It's pretty cool. But the cool part about this is it's got a 20-pound magnet on it.
Oh, wow.
So when you wrap your string up, it stays wrapped up.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of one of them deals I released. I'm like, I know I would like one.
Yeah.
So it's pretty inexpensive to manufacture. Let's send it. I think I've probably shipped nearly 4,000 of these out this year.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
And everybody loves them, man. I went to a Portland Lineman Rodeo. Pretty cool moment.
Shoot.
I'm still a smaller company,
Mm-hmm.
I went to a Lineman Rodeo a few weeks ago, and I was showing this to a guy that worked for PG&E.
Yeah.
And I brought enough out there to just give away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm going to come out here. And he's like, man, I got one of those with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's like, hey, he hollered at his boys.
No way.
Everybody there. So he texted me. He goes, I have so many because the company buys them for him.
Yeah.
Because he'd leave one at home, and he'd had 3 or 4 trucks he worked out of, but he had a lot of them.
Awesome.
So
That's such a full circle
yeah.
moment.
Anyway,
that is
it's
so
called
cool.
The everyday carry.
Yeah, no, this is way more
Yeah.
slim than my plumb bob because I was like, okay, I have to get one. It was too late. I'd already done my, jerry rig of a plumb bob at home once I figured out what I needed. But then when I went and bought one, because I was like, what if I need this again? It was like, those big cylinders with the point on the end, and it's very clunky.
Yeah, you can't carry it.
Wouldn't put that in my pocket, but I could put this in my pocket. And, girls are historically known for having tiny, unusable pockets in their pants. And that fits nice in my girl pocket. So I imagine the big boy pockets that they could pick it and this would be very undetectable.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's like can't even see it in there.
I think we should order some of those.
Yeah.
Could we get put a brand on it or something
Yeah.
so
Here,
we
try
can
it
give
out.
it to our customers?
Yeah, it's not a licensed product or nothing. Yeah, as long as my sticker's on one side, you can put whatever you want.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause I
it's
think-
the same colors too. Like it matches the little Zeus on your shirt.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is
Oh my
color coordinated,
gosh.
man.
Yeah.
I
very
love
cool.
it. Well, we're just about to the end. Okay, so anything else? We went through so many things today, and I know I'm a very scatterbrained host. So anything else that you want to leave people with, whether it's self-promotion plug, good advice, both, what do you want people to remember you for after this podcast?
Oh, man. If we're going to talk about company stuff, just keep an eye out for me. I got a bunch of stuff coming. I got a list of stuff that you can't comprehend, and I'm never going to quit releasing them. And if I'm letting it go out the door, it's something that I'm pretty certain it's going to be a hit. There's going to be a lot of linemen see value in it. So I'm super excited. It's like I always got a secret I can't wait to share.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where's the best places for people to follow you? Like what social medias are you on?
So the only reason that there's a Facebook at all is because Instagram automatically posts to Facebook, so I'm not on there much. But I have Instagram and TikTok on that. My tools are available from a whole lot of distributors. In Texas down here, J.O. Matthews is one of my big ones. With that.
Right.
Danny's been instrumental for me. That guy helped me out when he didn't even know me.
Aw.
And now I've got to meet him. But he's one of my distributors. But nearly every state's got a distributor that handles my tools from coast to coast.
Great.
It's so there's plenty of places to find me. I won't just say that my website's the only place.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of other companies. There's a lot of other linemen in this country that are making new tools that I can tell you to look forward to seeing. I saw a few of them on my drive down a few days ago. I told you I spent a few hours talking to some guys, and he didn't need coaching on a tool. He needed to know how to get it to market and get insurance and stuff, and I loved helping him. And I'm like, man, I'm honored that you would call me. And somebody gave him my number, So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming from linemen, and it's kind of a new era. Like the old companies aren't the only ones barking up the tree anymore.
I like
So
it.
keep an eye. There's several cool things coming. off the line crews pretty soon.
My face hurts from smiling so much in this conversation. I'm just excited. So I love the little tools we got to see today, and that you got to feel the stuff that Patrick's out there selling and get a feel